is episode 2 of the Two Normal Guys podcast. The first episode was well received, so obviously both of us are really excited about that. Like I said, it really well received. Had a couple of guys just obviously messaging us saying much they enjoyed it. I mean, if you guys enjoyed it, we'll definitely keep smashing out more, because obviously me and Scott both enjoy it. So like I said, second episode, made a couple of references to this one in the first episode, so this is now going to be about conspiracy theories. So for those of you who don't know what a conspiracy theory is, it's like...
I'll give you an example, Jack, right? Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? No. Right. Because the conspiracy theory is that they are government drones and pigeons aren't born. That's a stupid one, but essentially a conspiracy theory is something that what is widely believed to be the truth is believed not to be the truth, is essentially what a conspiracy theory is.
So we've got a couple of ones. We've got a couple of serious ones, and we've also got, like Scott said, a couple of stupid ones. Make your own mind up. Obviously, we do keep an open mind, but some of the ones Scott will say are pretty convincing.
Yeah, definitely. Would you mind if I start first, Jack? Is that alright? Because this one, I'm conscious of this might be a long episode and people might turn off. So this one, I beg, if you're thinking of turning off, please just listen to this one, because I feel so strongly about this. This is the Las Vegas shooting, Jack. Do you remember it?
Yeah, it 2017 or something like that.
2017, bang on, the 1st of October. What I'll do, I'll give you a brief kind of overview of what happened. If you're of a kind of nervous disposition or not kind of, because I mean this is it's horrible what happened. Probably keep to watch this. 5 minutes. Probably skip forward 5 minutes. But I'll just read you through what happened. At any point, Jack, feel free to jump in and ask me any questions about it, right? So what it was, this man, I'm not saying his name because I don't believe that you should say their names. On 1st of October 2017, he opened fire on the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas. Don't want to do that whole thing, but I've been in that hotel. It's a big gold hotel and overviews basically the whole of the strip. He caused the most deadliest shooting in modern US history. So modern US history is from 1980 onwards. Do you know how many people died?
I don't know, about 50 or something, wasn't it?
58 people died, yep. 422 were wounded, with the ensuing panic taking injury total to 869. Just shy of 1,000. Mate, it's just the shooting. This is what I mean. If you're of a disposition, go forward. The shooting went from 10:05 to 10:15, so 10 straight minutes of just hell raining down, where he fired more than 1,000 rounds of ammunition, and this caused the whole argument in America for bump stocks to be banned. Now, do you know what a bump stock is?
I obviously know because you've told me about it.
Because I deleted the footage back. But essentially, for anyone that doesn't know, what he was using was a AR-10, kind of AR-15 type rifle, which is semi-automatic, so it's essentially bang, 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 bang. But if you put a bump stock on it, it becomes fully auto, and it's shooting all the bullets all at once. So this is then being banned. But because of this, it took like a year and a half, incredibly, but it got banned. There's some kind of dodgy stuff behind it. I don't know if you know this, Jack, because I don't know if I mentioned it last time because we'd had a few.
Yeah.
But he'd researched large-scale venues in Boston and reserved the rooms overlooking places in Chicago, like the Lollapalooza Festival and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of people came. I believe that he kind of done that and then shat the bed, if you will. He took, this is incredible, with the unknowing knowledge of security staff, 5 consecutive days in a row, he took 5 suitcases to his room, then 7, then 2, then 6, then 2. So that adds up to, should have done this in advance, but I didn't. The 5 and 7 is 12, 14, 16, 20 suitcases up to his room, which was his arsenal, which I've got here. So excuse me.
Surely you'd get a bit suspicious, like he's took 20 suitcases to his room.
So obviously, I thought this, right? Obviously, the rooms are massive, the hotels are massive, and they deal with people. This is incredible, right? Because I've watched the documentary. They let him use the service elevator as well. So he didn't use the punter elevator. They let him in the hotels. I'll link the documentary below because it's good. Probably isn't the word, but it's really informative.
Mhm.
So he'd actually lose his service about 7. 5 to 6. 7 suitcases. We were there as a family of 4, and I don't think we had 7. I think we had 3, 4 suitcases. One guy was 7. Must be heavy. But anyway, this was his arsenal that he took up, which was associated equipment and ammunition, including 4 AR-15 rifles, which were all equipped with blunt stocks. 12 of the 15 had 100-round magazines, 8 AR-10 rifles, a bolt-action rifle, and a revolver. There's opened up this whole argument. Right, this is a point that I really want to stress, right? And I did take it from Duty Rhino, so I'll say this, right? But this is based on like the Second Amendment, which is obviously the right to bear arms, right?
Yeah.
That's based on single-shot rifles that take about 15 fucking minutes to reload, not an AR-15 with a bump stock on it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
He fired over 1,000 rounds in 10 minutes. It's like 100 rounds a minute. You couldn't even do 4 with, like, do you know what I mean? It's ludicrous. So anyway, we're going to move on, because you might be sitting there thinking, where's the conspiracy here? So I'll go into it. Probably want to start by saying this probably isn't going to be the most funny episode until we get to the dodgy ones, because I feel like I've dived in quite hard, because I do feel so strongly about this. But so basically, to give you an idea, you can already tell that he's prepared. Do you know what I mean? He had the room booked a week in advance, right? He obviously had 20 suitcases filled with guns, fucking 14 AR-15s, 8 AR-10s, just ridiculous. So he had that side of it planned. He got a food cart before he'd done it, then put cameras on it and stuck it outside the room so he could see who was coming. So that bit was planned. He put an L bracket on the door so that nobody could open the door, so that bit was planned, right? And there was reports that he had the room underneath booked as a getaway to kind of jump out the window and jump back in and get away, right? So clearly this man had absolutely everything planned, and the revolver was clearly there. You've got 3 types of rifle and then a revolver, which he then used to take his own life at the end of it, right? So clearly everything was planned. Now the conspiracy comes in where a lot of people have seen it, CSI, kind of this stuff. You know the yellow markers that they put down?
Mm-hmm.
Which is like evidence thing number 1, evidence thing number 2.
Yeah.
What it is, right? They show you the room before they put these evidence markers down, and beside the bed there's a notepad and a bit of paper with writing on it. And then when it goes to the bit where they've got the bits of the evidence markers down, the notepad and the bit of paper is gone. There was writing on the bit of paper, right? And the conspiracy is that he's basically wrote on this bit of paper, I've done this because I can, because of the unbelievably ridiculous gun laws in this country. And the NRA, who obviously fund, I don't know, but I would say hundreds of millions, if not billions, into the American government, have went, get shot of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. What we're going to do, we're going to give a believability rating on each one out of 10. 10 obviously being that I believe that's happened, and 0 being behave yourself. Yeah, like I don't actually believe that pigeons are. Yeah. Yeah, if that was what he was doing, I don't get what he was doing, but I'm not saying I understand what he was doing, but that makes a lot more sense than to just randomly take 20 cases of guns to a room and then shoot everyone and shoot them. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because like, see, like with these shootings in America, it's not like hundreds of stuff. It's like one guy just kind of goes a bit tonto and just like, fuck it. He shoots
exactly.
Like far too much. If he was like, he was proving a point, like he was proving a point to the guys, like the note that said apparently, look what I can do. It's like, obviously he's had that much preparation, and he's like searched the venues in like Boston and Chicago and stuff like that. So he's obviously had quite a bit of thought behind it before he's actually one day.
Exactly. The premeditation in this is so to the point that if he had an escape route planned, he also didn't plan on dying. Mm-hmm. But if he's got the revolver there, he's gonna have his mate. He's made a statement.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no way you wouldn't have a note covered. So, personally, what would you give that out of 10?
I'd get a 10, because if there's
A
actual
10. Hold on a minute. A 10 is you saying that definitely is what happened. I'm not even giving it a 10, and I feel strongly that that's what happened. I'm giving it an 8.
I'd say a 9. I'd say a 9, because like there's too many.
But to give a conspiracy theory a 10 is to say that it is not a conspiracy and that it did happen.
I would still probably. I don't want to get a 10 because the first one obviously is to start off, but I'd get a 9 because if it's the actual like photos from the crime scene, and it's got the actual like it's in a photo, like that's what they seen when they came into the room, and they removed it on the like they just like they made it disappear. Then it's obviously something to do with along the lines of he's obviously wrote that, and like he never even like he never even planned on. He only killed himself because he got caught. Like he could have probably just jumped out the window and then went downstairs and fucked off forever. So
yeah, he had also he'd googled do police use explosives, so he'd even figured out if he put a nail bracket on the door if they could get in.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm meaning is the most minute details of this have been figured out. Yeah. You would just have a note covered. Mm-hmm. You just would. Even like
a suicide note or something like that, like to his family, like.
Exactly. And then if that's only what it was, which is another point, they wouldn't get rid of just a note that just says I'm sorry, because then that doesn't mean nothing.
If it was like
to do that would create this conspiracy theory out of nowhere, which is silly. Right, an 8 and a 9. I'd say that's a solid start. That's a solid start. Jack, go on.
Right, so for my first one, it's not so much an actual incident, it's like a location. So some of these will be specific incidents, and a few of mine are like sort of specific locations. The first one will be the Bermuda Triangle. So for those guys that have heard of this, you obviously know what I'm going to talk about. And for the guys that haven't heard about, so the Bermuda Triangle, right? It's an area in the Western Atlantic Ocean. It stretches between Miami, the island of Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. So obviously, like Miami's here, Bermuda's up there, Puerto Rico. So it's like obviously a triangle.
Bermuda is an island.
Aye, Bermuda's an island.
Oh, I never knew that. I
actually never knew. Before I obviously looked it up, I just knew it was like it must have been someplace, but it's actually like the island of Bermuda.
I thought it was just a name for the kind of.
Yeah, so
I didn't think it was an actual place.
Obviously called it the Bermuda Triangle because obviously that's what it is.
Bermuda,
so the estimated stretches for 500,000 to 100, not 100 million, 500,000 to 1 million square miles of ocean. It is basically just ocean. Like you've got obviously Miami and you've got a couple of islands in Puerto Rico, but for the most part it is just open sea. So Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle or Hurricane Alley, is a loosely defined region, like I said, in that sort of specific region or area, where a number of large planes and ships have actually gone missing. Now, whether that be just pure coincidence or something more sinister, that's what I'm going to sort of get into.
I hope I'm not stealing this from you, but is that not where Amelia Earhart went missing?
I think it might have been.
I guess.
Yeah, so there have been like a really, really big number of, obviously at first, boats going missing, and people just seeing like weird stuff, like lights in the sky following them, or like fireballs coming from the sky. It's not. Like, see some of the stuff you see in there. It's actually.
I just realised, see because they know that we're re-recording this, it looks like I've just stole that Amelia Earhart comment, but I didn't know that the first time. Like, I didn't know that the first time. That's like I'm just feeling fucking gone. Right, no, so it's it's nuts, as you so delicately.
It's nut, man. Like, I'll give you a couple of notable incidents, right? Well, tell you what, I'll say obviously why people believe it to be a conspiracy, because some of the people, they actually think that it may be like aliens and stuff like that. Because I think there's one incident, I'm not entirely sure when this was, but I just know it's been documented, that there was a guy sailing through the Bermuda Triangle. He's seen like 3 lights in the sky and fireballs like coming down. I don't know if they were like shooting stars or something, but he obviously never knew that at the time. and as soon as he recorded that on his, like, it was like the captain of the ship, so obviously they keep like a log and like a diary of what's happening.
Yeah.
So he's just writing in his journal or something that he's seen that, and then after he'd obviously recorded it, the ship went missing.
So how did he know he recorded it then?
That's a good question, actually, mate.
You know what I mean?
I think I've just...
Zero. Next.
Jesus, man.
So,
surely
a journal was like writing it down, no?
Yeah, that's actually quite a good point. I think I might have been... I've definitely been...
They must have they found the ship then?
No, they never found it, mate. But
so how did they know he wrote that in the journal? Is it an audio journal and then it goes back to base?
Nah, mate, this was like, I would assume like 1700s or something. Mate, I've been, mate, that was right. Can I just say, right? That was off Wikipedia, so Wikipedia may or may not be the best source of information. I've been made to look at a mug on my podcast. How bad is that, man? Right? I can't believe that. Anyway.
You went just like, you don't know Wikipedia is literally like, see, because we've got a YouTube channel, we can literally just go on Wikipedia and just type in like Jack was on the ship and then he died and came back to Maley. And then that's no incredible story.
I've always wanted to just pure edit Wikipedia pages. That'd be everyone.
We should make ourselves a Wikipedia page and like take the absolute piss with it. Yes, we're doing that.
Right, okay. Right, whether or not that was true, it doesn't look likely, but they still believe it to be some sort of extraterrestrial presence in the area, as there have been numerous sightings in like the sky and stuff. Obviously, I could have picked a better example, and I'll take that. That's my fault. But I'll give you a couple of actual examples that were recorded.
Here we go.
So one is right. There was this ship called the Ellen Austin, right? So sometime in the late 19th century, I think it may have been 1881 or 1880, a ship named the Ellen Austin found an abandoned ship just sailing in the Bermuda Triangle, right? The captain of the Ellen Austin, obviously, he's like, what's happening here? Like, why is that ship got nobody on it? Can I just say, like, it was a popular shipping route. So there was quite a lot of like commercial trading ships sailing through the Bermuda Triangle at this time,
right,
so
okay.
common. So there were quite a few ships in the area in that sort of time period. So obviously sees this, he's like, what's going on? So he actually says to his crew, he's like, go onto that ship, have a look about, and we can try and sail it in tandem with the Ellen Austin back to New York. So they could obviously find out whose ship it was, what happened, like stuff like that. So while they were doing that, according to the stories, it was said that the ship they'd found abandoned. So the abandoned ship actually disappeared, then reappeared, missing the crew of the Ellen Austin that the captain had placed on board. Now it kind of splits off into like two different sort of stories here. One of the stories says that the captain then placed a second crew on board and the ship disappeared again, but wasn't seen ever again. The other story says that he tried to place a second crew on board, but the sailors obviously seen what had happened to their pals and were like, no, mate.
Yeah, I strongly believe the second one where he's went, they've not disappeared, what I do in the face? Like,
aye, they danger, mate. Nah.
Aye, definitely, mate. I totally agree with that. So wait, that's proper.
Yeah,
mate. So the boat came back.
Yeah.
How did it come back?
I don't know. I don't have a clue, mate. Like they found, because the thing is, like, they found it abandoned in the first place. Like nobody was on it, so he's obviously seen that and be like, well, something must have happened. So he's like, sail this back to New York, whatever. Get guys to look at it and see if they can find out what actually happened to it. Sticks his pals on it. Boat disappears, reappears without his pals, and then
again. So it's happened twice.
Aye. So hypothetically, if he had sent on board a second crew, it disappeared again, mate. That's and then obviously different to the first time where it had reappeared without the crew, it just disappeared completely. Mate.
That's odd. That's
right, isn't it? Like whether or not
that is what you would call unexplainable. Do you know what I mean?
Like it is, like whether it be like aliens or something, mate, it is. Like I said at the start of the explanation, it's half it's not. Right, so I'll give you another one. I'll give you another one, right? Flight 19. Okay, so this is probably one of the most well-known incident of like an aeroplane going down. The most notable disappearance, right? So Flight 19 was a training flight of 5 torpedo bombers that disappeared on the 5th of December 1945. Now, obviously, to give you a little bit of just the explanation at the timescale, 1945 is obviously when World War II had ended. This is the 5th of December, so what, like 6 months or something? I don't know the exact date that it ended, but roughly about, 5-6 months after.
It's not like September?
Yeah, something like that. Or maybe a couple of months, only a couple of months after. Yeah. Obviously, so these torpedo bombers, these are like top of the range. Well, for at the time, 1945, these were what the best the US Air Force could offer in terms of aircraft that they had available to them. So yeah, so training flight is just a normal occurrence. They do this like all the time. The actual pilot had like over 700 hours of combat experience. So the captain,
a veteran, mate, a veteran.
Yeah. So the captain, I think his name's Charles Taylor. Charles Taylor. So he's used to this. He's had 700 hours of combat experience, and the guys that are with him, although they're not as experienced as him, they're experienced enough to know what they're doing. About half an hour into the flight, the captain starts reporting his compass and his fuel gauge. Like the gauge is obviously going from empty to full, like rapid. The compass starts spinning. Like obviously, when you're like standing about, a compass kind of moves slowly. His was like spinning in a circle. Just
right,
mate. It's gone off. It's not, by the way. See some stuff that happens. It's actually mad. Obviously because obviously the lead pilot, right? It doesn't happen to the actual other guys, but like 5 minutes after, it starts happening to them as well. Because he's like, "Is anybody else getting this?" And they're like, "Nah." But then obviously they fly in to the wee area that he flew over, and then they're like, "Nah, this is happening to me. Something's definitely up." So he's obviously he doesn't know where they are. Like they'd flown this hundreds of times before, but they don't actually know where they are. So the pilot radios back to the airbase or whatever. He's like, "Where are we? Like I don't actually know where we are." The pilot thinks, right? Right. So the pilot thinks that they're flying over the Florida Keys. Now, for anybody that knows Florida or anybody that's been there, Florida Keys is like the southernmost point in the US, I think.
Correct, I've been there.
Yeah,
It's
like right down the bottom, just off the coast of Florida itself. It's like way down south. So the pilot thinks that they're flying. He thinks they're flying to the Florida Keys, which should actually be impossible because they should have been flying east. They should have been flying out into the ocean for the past hour. The airbase actually tells them to turn around from going south, head north, and try to fly to Miami. The last known recording of the lead pilot's voice can be heard in the quote, "All planes close up tight. We'll have to ditch unless we find landfall. When the first plane drops below 10 gallons, we all go down." No, obviously, he's just basically just said, "We don't know where we are. We could be flying anywhere. We're going to have to ditch the planes if we don't find land soon. And obviously, as soon as the first plane drops below 10 gallons of fuel, we can't just leave them. We're all going to go down together." So it's quite heroic. And he said that he's obviously the leader of these guys. They'll just be like really scared. So he's like, "Nah, if one of them goes down, we're all going down together." So he seems like a pretty decent guy. But they were.
What? Because he said, "Kill yourself if I go down"?
Nah. It was if the first plane drops below 10 gallons. So it couldn't have
It's
even
probably
been
his
his.
plane.
Nah,
He
it means
thought, I don't want to go in to see him alone. You're
he
coming
doesn't mean
with us. He's not a hero. He's a disgrace.
yeah. It doesn't mean the first plane in the actual formation. It means just the first plane in general.
Yeah, I know,
The-
but what I mean is, I don't know. I suppose you've got more chance of.
Aye.
Yeah, What's his name?
Charles Taylor.
Sorry, Charles. I was a bit ahead there. You're probably. He's probably dead.
Yeah,
He's
so
definitely dead. Of course, he's fucking dead.
yeah, so they were never heard from again. So obviously, as it became more obvious that the flight was lost, they actually sent out 2 more Airbuses, I believe. So these will be like big sort of jumbo,
That's the one you go on hold, isn't it? An
Yeah,
Airbus 7. I don't know.
with the specific intention of trying to rescue these guys. But as they were sent to search, they experienced the same thing with the compass and the fuel gauge, and they were never heard.
So hold on, there was a problem with the fuel gauge.
Must have been.
Right, I'm going back to Charles here, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they had hundreds of fuel, and it says -10, and Charles has killed all the boys.
Yeah.
I take it back, Charles. Burning hell.
Right, I've also got, right, so my brother was watching this, like, thing, I was like a video on YouTube or something like that a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
And
good, another credible source from you.
Right, it was a pilot that was flying from, I think it was Cuba to Miami in like 1970 or something. So obviously the actual route he flew through went through the Bermuda Triangle.
Right, okay.
This flight, about 15 minutes, so a normal flight from Cuba to Miami takes about 2 hours and 45 minutes, I think he said, or 2 hours and 35 to 45 minutes. So about 50 minutes into his flight, the same thing happens to him. The fuel gauge starts going mental, the compass starts spinning, and at the same time as this happens, the clouds outside, he has a look outside but he can't see anything, but he sees obviously like these clouds, these storm clouds, and they start spinning. Like now normal clouds just kind of go really, really slow. They start spinning sideways. And yeah, so they start spinning sideways, and he sees this opening that's getting, obviously because the clouds are spinning sideways, the opening's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So he just manages to fly through the clouds, and he's in Miami. As soon as he flies through the clouds, he's in Miami, and he looks at the time on his watch, and it's only taken him about 45 minutes to fly. So he's arrived 2 hours ahead of schedule. Yeah, like that's the thing. Is obviously like the clouds in that, it's a notorious place for tropical storms. Just like they can just appear and disappear really, really quickly.
Oh my God, Gulliver's Travels. Is that?
Aye, something like that.
Is that not what that's from? Yeah, it is. Oh my God,
yeah.
what a storm. Yeah.
Storms like really, really dangerous, but obviously like you can't really explain how he's went from Cuba to Miami 45 minutes. Like how do you explain that?
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 7, right? Only based on the fact that I gave mine an 8, and I think, but
the thing is, like, I don't know whether it's aliens or
okay, we'll do 2 different ones. We'll do one based on aliens, and then one based on there just being dodgy stuff that happens. Aliens, 0.
Aliens,
dodgy stuff.
I want to too, because obviously, like, I want to believe in aliens, and it would be quite cool.
I'll give it a 1.
Yeah, I'd give it probably a 6, just based on the fact that there's been so many incidents in that specific area.
Yeah, there's a lot of logs to the fire.
I'll give
it a 7, a good 7.
Aye,
because there's a lot. So it's not like it's a one-off.
Yeah, there's been hundreds.
Pilot, like, you know what I mean?
You actually go and like look at incidents in the Bermuda Triangle. There's hundreds of stuff. Like so many things have happened.
Right. So what were you saying? What were you saying? A 6? I'll say 7.
I'd say a 6, mate.
A 6, right? I'll move on to my next one. I feel like feel like I'm the bearer of bad news here. Once again, if you're of a nervous disposition, I would cut forward because this involves a nonce. Now, the nonce in question, who do you think it is, Jack?
Jeffrey Epstein.
It is, of course, Jeffrey Epstein. Might point out, do you see what happened last night?
No?
We're recording this on Friday, it'll be up on Sunday. Last night, his ex-girlfriend got arrested by the FBI on Epstein-based charges, which basically means kiddie-touching-based charges. Now, I'll do a backstory and then I'll explain kind of what happened. Jeffrey Epstein, for anyone who doesn't know, is a billionaire, made his money through banking, and is just generally a twat. It's only going to be a minute or two, but it's disgusting. He was a predator, sex offender, whatever it's called. He would give girls $200 to give them a massage, and another $200 to get another girl to come and give him a massage. He had like this pyramid scheme of paedophilia. It's just deplorable. He had a private island where he would get people to move the trees, right, so the boats couldn't get like a clear shot through. He had like full-grown men working on the island and women that would just turn a blind eye to all this. And he had a plane. They would have like, no debate about it, we should have child sex parties on the plane, because when you're on a plane, you're flying over different territories. The pilot is the law.
Yeah,
you give the pilot £1 million to shut up, do what you want. The people that have been on this plane, fuck it, Bill Clinton, right, ex-president,
name and
has
shit.
been on this plane 27 times, but none of that ever happened when he was on it.
Oh, of course it never.
27, yeah, no bother. So Jeffrey Epstein, on the 10th of August last year, 2019, he took his own life, quotation marks, by hanging. This was the night before he was due to give evidence. The night before, right? He's due to get, do you know what? So that guys like Prince Andrew, with his, do you remember the Prince Andrew Pizza Express story?
Yeah.
Where some girls that he had sex with, he's like, oh no, on that day 20 years ago, I was in Pizza Express in Woking. They're like, right, let's break this down. You're the Queen's son.
I have to remember if it was at Pizza Express then. Like,
I don't remember what I had for lunch today. He remembers that he was in Pizza Express in Woking 20 years ago. Secondly, his mum's the Queen. He doesn't eat in Pizza Express. Like, do me a favour. And then third of all, this was the best bit. She went, I was sweating. And he went, aha, I don't sweat. Whilst sweating in the interview. So the interviewer then goes, you're sweating now? And he goes, yeah, well, I can sweat now. You're like, he's a prince. You'd have thought somebody would have been like, this is what you've got to say. As opposed to like, I can't say what you want.
He just gained the ability to sweat over the past 20 years. Like, what?
He said he lost it in the war and then gained it back. Mate, it's fucking mental. You need to go and watch it.
That's the most horse shit I've ever heard.
This is a prince. This is the Queen's son. Like, you would think that there would be some form of PR team in Buckingham Palace that go like, don't go and basically do exactly what he's done. We'll link it below and go and watch it if we like, because we'll link a lot of stuff. Like, go and watch this. And I will point out, we said we linked something in the last episode and we didn't because I couldn't be arsed. But this episode we will link all the stuff that we said we'll link. But we'll link I think it's like a BBC interview, Prince Andrew. It is just magnificent. So Epstein, he hung himself, quotation marks. Let's move on to why this is odd. So right, basically, first of all, right, this for me is a 10 because he didn't kill himself, right? They killed him, as in they being the American government, rich people, the Queen, the royals, so he doesn't come out against guys like Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton. There we go. Why I hear you say? I'll tell you why. Jeffrey Epstein was over 6 foot tall and he was found hanging from a 5'10" bunk bed. Now, I'm not a physicist, Jack, right? Or a mathematician by any means. But for a 6 foot guy to hang on a 5'10" bed, I believe you'd have to be levitating. How? That just doesn't make sense. But
it's just didn't happen.
Yeah. Now, let me get your impression of this, and for the audio listeners and whoever's watching on YouTube or whatever, he was on suicide watch at the time. Now, what do you all think suicide watch means?
24-hour round-the-clock supervision, specifically to make sure you don't kill yourself.
Specifically to make sure you don't kill yourself. And what happened?
He killed himself. Well,
thank you. Yeah, quotation marks for the audio listeners there. Now, I feel bad for these guys, not Epstein, these two prison wardens, because these two prison wardens were basically, they've went to jail now because they had like a logbook of some such where you need to have sex walk past Epstein, he was breathing. And they'd been writing this and hadn't done it. I have no doubt in my mind that somebody's went in and went, we'll kill your whole family unless you say that you done the checks when you didn't and then go to jail. And these poor bastards have went down. There was 2 cameras on his cell. This is like magnificent. 2 cameras on his cell. One of them wasn't working. One of them suspiciously had his footage wiped. And he had bruises and cuts and a black eye, as if somebody had walked in, smashed him, and killed him. Like, so basically what happens is, because Epstein's now dead, all criminal charges into Epstein and people that he was going to out, so that your Trumps, your Bill Clintons, Prince Andrews, are all dropped. What better reason can you have for taking a man's life? So this is the elite. I wrote this down. The elite clearly showing that they can do whatever they want right in our face and no one can stop them. 10 out of 10 for me, he didn't kill himself.
I'd say a 10 out of 10 as well. Just solely for the fact. It just never happened, but. And that's what it's like, the fact it could be overwhelming evidence proving that it just never happened, but as long as, because he's like what, Bill Clinton's like ex-president, Donald Trump is the president, Prince Andrew's Queen's
the mum.
Yeah, like
Prince Andrew's mum's the Queen.
Yeah, like it just.
Do you know what it is for me? I'm not saying I have a favourite fact, right? But every time I go back, it's a different fact that makes me believe that that's why it didn't happen, right? So like, he's 6 foot hanging from a fucking 5 foot 10 bunk bed. Like, for me, that's the one where you're going, he just didn't kill himself. Like. There's a lot more points in there that I've not brought up because I just didn't do the research. But Jack, 10
for me. Solid 10 for me, mate.
However, I am glad he's dead, but I would rather he took down more people. Right, conspiracy number 4, I believe.
Let me see. Right, so this one is about the Denver airport. And again, this is like a sort of location, but the Denver airport, for those that you don't know, obviously Denver being in Colorado, USA, it was built as a replacement for the Stapleton Airport near Denver in 1995. It's always had its fair share of conspiracy theories about it. One of the ones that people think maybe going on is the actual airport itself was constructed by the New World Order, or NWO, for those of you who don't know who the NWO are.
Yeah, that's Dre, Eazy-E. Oh no, it's NWA. That was such a shit joke. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, so the NWO are basically like the Illuminati. So it's like the secret society of all the most powerful people in the world. They're like a sort of satanic cult, apparently. So really some dodgy people.
Bohemian Grove style.
Aye. They have a video on that.
We will. We'll go into YouTube, we'll do a video on Bohemian Grove because they are at it.
Yeah, so like I said, some people believe that the airport itself was constructed by the New World Order. It doesn't actually help that the airport's dedication marker actually gives credit to an organisation known as let me just get this straight, the New World Airport Commission for building it.
Sounds a lot like the New World Order.
Exactly. It may seem a coincidence, but it was actually discovered that such an organisation doesn't exist. And
exist?
Nah, it doesn't exist, mate. According to the actual airport's website itself. So obviously the airport's website would credit the people that built it, but they did at one point. And obviously when people took notice of it, they've taken it off and claimed it didn't exist in the first place, which already red flags, mate. Red flags.
Yep, a lot of red flags there. Doesn't exist. Just straight up doesn't.
Yeah,
Never existed.
they said they were like, who are those guys? And they're like, they don't exist, mate.
Illuminati vibes coming straight out of there, bro.
People have actually noted strange markings on. I don't know where it is, but in the actual airport itself, it might actually be like the front of the airport or something. There's like a wee plaque or whatever, obviously commemorating the sort of building of the airport. But there's actually the Freemason symbol. So like the kind of, what's that, like a triangle, and it's like.
Is it not two hammers, almost like pickaxes?
I don't know, man.
I think it is. I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, but if so we'll link it at some point down below if you want to go and have a look at it. It's like, I don't know, it's a pretty noticeable symbol.
If we can find it, I'll put it up on the screen.
Put it on the screen, but that actual symbol is carved out onto this wee plaque, and obviously again that's just adding more and more red flags, because that's the actual symbol of the Freemasons, who again are very, very similar to the NWO. Right, also, now, this one is kind of a wee bit like, people say that the airport's runways are shaped like a swastika. Now, obviously, swastika being the symbol of Nazi Germany. I looked at it for myself. It's like, you can see it. I'm not going to, like, don't get me wrong, you can see it. It is shaped like a swastika, but it's like almost like you have that wee kind of bit. It's like a bit offset. But it does look.
If you're trying to get it.
Yeah, maybe. But you can obviously see it. It does look a bit. It looks a bit funny for an airport to be like, or the runways to be set out that way. I don't know much about airports myself.
But that doesn't make sense. Just even.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That doesn't make sense.
Aye. Again, right. So another point is about the actual airport's mascot. A massive horse that. Yeah, so the airport's mascot is a blue horse called Blue Mustang, right? The horse statue stands at 32 feet tall and it weighs 9,000 pounds. It's absolutely massive. Like, you actually look at the photographs, it's huge. Its eyes glow red when it lights up.
What?
Its eyes glow red, and why would a horse's eyes glow red? Don't know.
Horses, horsemen, 4 horsemen in the apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people think that because its eyes glow red, it's like kind of satanic, and it symbolises the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Why does his eyes glow red? It's like the weirdest shit I've ever heard.
The fact is, see if it wasn't weird enough, mate, the horse has actually killed someone. Like, see the artist, right? So the artist...
Wait, hold on. Don't just skim over that. You need to explain. The horse has killed someone.
The horse killed someone, right? So the artist that made it, Luis Jimenez, died in 2006 when a piece of the sculpture's head broke off and severed an artery in his leg, causing him to bleed to death.
The artist was the one that died?
Yeah. I don't know if it's...
That's more mental.
Aye. I don't know if it's the actual guy that made it or... No, I think it was, actually.
Yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
So wait, so he's made it, and they went, you need to make the eyes red because it's got Hitler's ashes in it. And then, I'm taking this off on a mad Nazi tangent, but then when he's built it, they went, he knows too much. Yeah. And they've killed him. It's a log to the fire. That appears to be the phrase of this podcast episode. That's weird. That is very weird.
Like, it's the fact that he made the horse and a bit of the horse's head broke off and killed him.
It's a lot more poignant than if it just killed a punter. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The fact that he killed the guy that made it.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
And the actual airport itself went $2 billion over budget. $2 billion.
$2 billion?
Aye. 2 billion, mate. No, like a couple of million or something. Like 2 billion, mate.
2 billion? So that's like, holy shit. Do you know what that could be, mate? Like,
mate.
See it? Like the New World Order under the airport. That's exactly what I was thinking as soon as you said that.
The thing is, $2 billion, it's not like, mate, that's $2 billion, mate. That's hundreds of money.
Billions, you might say?
Aye, but like, there's like the actual airport blueprints. There's like 3 ground floors. One of them I think was used for like Subway, like a Subway sort of. And
I thought you meant a fucking Subway sandwich shop.
Gone.
I was like, what? Okay, God, it's well on day.
No, it was like an underground access, like for obviously people coming and going to the airport. But the 2 floors below that, nothing was ever, like, no purpose was ever given to them. And people believe those 2 floors to be like an underground bunker. So obviously, when, don't know, like World War III happens or something, or it starts going nuclear, for the world elite to actually go underground and have safety there. And they believe that obviously, if it's like an underground bunker, that'll kind of be the base of the NWO, who coincidentally may have actually constructed the thing. So if they did, if they were credited with actual construction of the airport, they went $2 billion over schedule, then it would make sense that would be where they kind of kick about.
Denver, sorry, I'm going to try and figure something out. Colorado, yeah, no?
Yeah.
Whereabouts on the map is that?
So Colorado's like quite to the west. So obviously you've got America. There's like, I don't really know specifically, but Colorado's kind of more so to the west, to the sort of Pacific
So
coast.
that's just geographical wise. Bohemian Grove, going back to that, is that not California?
Yeah.
Which on the west as well?
Yeah, so Denver and California are like, I don't know, like 2 states apart or something, but they're relatively close together.
Mate, so they all fucking 9.
Aye.
9.
I'm the same.
I'm not going to say no. I'm not going back to the German thing there. 9.
Yeah.
I'm going with 9 out of 10. I think that's.
Defo dodgy.
There's so much weight to that, and like all the wee intricacies all add up.
Defo, mate.
Can't give it a 10 because I don't. That's me saying for 7, but it's a fucking strong 9 as well. I'll take that for free.
Heavy weird, innit? Heavy weird.
Would you give that out of 10?
I get a 9 as well.
Yeah.
Aye.
I loved that one. I'll be honest, mate. All the wee tiny things all added up.
There's like so much more. I only named a couple of the points here, but if anybody listening wants to go and like check out, there's hundreds of stuff. Like it's same in the Bermuda Triangle. There's like so many occurrences or so many weird bits about the actual the airport that you would just be like, why? See, another one, like some of the paintings and the artwork inside the actual airport are fucking weird. It's like Holocaust memorial stuff. It's just fucking, it's like,
no way.
Honestly, it's like, if you,
yeah,
like honestly, go and have a look at the paintings. It's just like, why on earth would that ever be in an airport?
If I can find one, I'll put it on the screen.
It's like a guy's got a gas mask and an AK-47. And it's like, what?
What?
Oh, it's mad. It's what?
But I'm definitely going to find these and put these on the screen for, if there's any audio listeners, well, they need to watch on YouTube, so just pick up the phone and look at it. Right, 9. I'm going with 9. Strong 9.
I go with 9, mate. 9 defo.
I feel like I've went in with 9 and just went 8, 10, and now I've got another 10. But I'll tell you that my last one is a 2. So I'll do this one. Oh, it's the Stevie Wonder's Blind one. But fuck it, I'm on it. I might as well just say it right. This for me is a 2. There's a clever one coming after this one that I feel quite strongly about now, but I brought this up, so might as well. Stevie Wonder is not blind, Jack.
That's an interesting statement.
Now, I've only got 5 lines of like a couple of words, so I'm going to go over this very quickly, and then I'll just do my proper one actually, so I'll just get this out of the way. He... right. He always gets courtside seats. Now, if you're blind, you don't really need that. He was a notorious childhood prankster. But he was blind from birth. There is a photo, I'll put it on the screen just now if I get it, of him taking a photo of his own waxwork, like on a camera, like going like that. It's very odd. And then the final... Can't believe I even put this in this fucking podcast. And the final one is the video that I showed you of him going to grab the mic. Now, I'll link that below. It's very strange, but basically, Paul McCartney dances past him, knocks a mic over, and he goes out to grab it, and you're like, you're blind.
Aye, how would you?
And there's like a song going on, so you wouldn't have heard it or nothing. And he always goes to grab it, and then goes away like, oh no, I'm blind. Right, fuck it, 0. No, 2, because the picture and the video are weird, mate.
Yeah, there's definitely. I don't know. I obviously don't want to say he's blind, and then obviously he is blind. Cause that's just, like, why would you even say that? That's just like such a cunt thing to say. But
that's what conspiracy theories are, but mate, like.
Yeah, it's like it was a notorious childhood prankster. So what if he's continued that prank on to be?
Mate, yeah, like he's going to turn around being 60 and be like, got it!
Aye. They just played pretend. He was like, I wasn't actually blind, mate. Like, I can still play the piano, just feel heavy shades. So
I feel like you would have messed up a lot more if he was. I mean, like somebody walked past you, but alright, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he would do that a lot more than.
Yeah, if he actually he's doing a heavy good job, mate. He's been the picture, fuck it, but the video is weird.
The
video's a bit dodgy, man.
Right, let's go to 2. Have you got a daft one?
Let me see. I may have a daft one, to be said. Yeah.
Just came on here and said Stevie Wonder's blind. Right.
So, one of these ones, you all know who Avril Lavigne is? That lassie that sang that Skater Boy song? Aye, that one. Right.
Oh, that's the name.
So there's a conspiracy theory going about that she isn't actually, well, the real Avril Lavigne died and was replaced with a girl called Melissa. So
I'm gonna love this. I know I'm gonna love this.
So this theory, as I said, claims that Lavigne, struggling with fame at the beginning of her career, began using a body double named Melissa. At some point, the real Lavigne is said to have died, so the record company replaced her with the body double full time. Proof, and again I put that in quotation marks, so proof has included Lavigne's red carpet photo shoots, so when she's obviously went to events and that. Lavigne, the real Avril Lavigne apparently wears trousers, whereas the stunt double, or the second Avril Lavigne, Melissa, prefers dresses and skirts. So there's a bit of a difference in like the sort of fashion, and supposedly there's like differences in the facial features, like cheekbones and sort of like jawline, stuff like that. I don't know the specifics, but their faces don't really look the same.
You've just described growing up.
Aye. That's why it's stupid. Like, it is stupid. It's like
you've just went, well, she likes to wear different clothes and her face looks different. I mean, off when I was 5.
This is what these people think. These actual idiots think that could be. They also
spoilers is a 0 from me, unless you pull out some worldly here.
They also believe the Melissa has left clues in songs such as Avril Lavigne's "Slipped Away," in which she sings, "The day you slipped away was the day I found it wouldn't be the same." There was also a publicity shoot in which Avril Lavigne had the word Melissa, or the name Melissa, written on a hand.
That's odd.
Yeah.
But if you see what you're saying about the Melissa thing, I'll give you is odd. The lines in the music, I could probably get a line like that from every single musician that's ever lived, ever. Do you know what I mean? Like, that one's 0, sorry.
That's
fucking 0.
I go a 0, mate.
1. I was just about to quiz you and go, what single bit of that?
Name alone, like, just having the word Melissa, unless she's just like bamming up people up, just like, you apparently. I don't know whereabouts on her hand it was written.
No, but where is this girl being called Melissa? Where's that came from?
2 seconds. They began using a body double at the start of her career. So I don't know if she was like recording music videos or something. Or like, I don't know, I know some people when they're getting films made, if they don't want to like show their boobs or their bum or something, they'll use like a body double. But I don't know if she was in any of that. But yeah, apparently they used a body double for some reason. And the body double.
So that's a logical explanation as to why she had the word Melissa written on her hand.
Yeah.
0.
Aye, 0.
I can't believe we give more log. I can't believe anything was less than Stevie Wonder not being blind. But that was terrible. So that was fucking dreadful. Okay, one more each, I think, ladies and gents. I don't actually know how long we've been timing it for because we're terrible at that. I am going to go to one that I believe is a second 10. It is the attack on the Pentagon. So, the most famous attack, the Pentagon was part of the 9/11 attacks. So, obviously, when people think about the 9/11 attacks, they think about the Twin Towers. There's a lot more conspiracy theories based on the Michael Jackson, the Twin Towers, for him not being alive. So, if you want to see that, hit the like button below and give us a comment, message on Instagram. It might pop up in the polls. Quick mention on the polls, getting on it, won it by an absolute landslide. Jack's option, big up. So that will be coming 2 weeks today.
2 weeks today, I think. Yeah, so we also, just as a disclaimer, we will be recording that episode at Scott's house.
Socially distanced, I might add.
Yeah, social distance, but we will be recording that at Scott's house, and we're both looking forward to it. And we also
be getting on it for the episode.
Yeah, exactly. So we're looking forward to that one.
What to do? We don't have a plan for that episode yet, so I think we're going to talk about kind of funny stories. If anyone's got any points you want us to look at, whether that be clubs, drinks, positives, negatives, whatever, literally just message us on Instagram. Anyone that has messages will see that we message back straight away because we both have no life, and we can get back to you straight away. But yeah, going forward, also on that, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that voted in that poll. We had about 55% rate of people that seen it voted on it. Brilliant, thank you so much. So the Pentagon, so it was part of the 9/11 attacks. I'm going to stick specifically to the Pentagon because I feel that just out of respect to the towers, I don't like to conspiracy theory that, but the Pentagon I do. So the Pentagon is the headquarters for the US Department of Justice in Arlington, Virginia. And the whole theory is that what happened, quotation marks, is a plane hit the building, blew up, and then that was it. So the theory is that it was a missile that hit the building by the American government, so that then with the towers as an attack on our people and the building as an attack on our defence, both in together was enough to kickstart the war in Afghanistan and Iraq. I thoroughly believe that a plane did not hit it. I'm now going to prove why. So this category I've just got written down as dodgy. So I'm going to take you through one by one, Jack, actually, and you can tell me what you think. There was 85 security tapes seized, and only one showed a single frame of just one white streak going across. And that's meant to be a Boeing 757 100-ton plane.
That's so stupid, man. Again, it's like the Epstein thing. It's like they could have all the evidence in the world proving them wrong and they'd still just deny it because
so clear. So they don't have it coming into land or anything. And if I can find it, I'll put it on the screen here. It's literally like, behave yourself. That for me is the biggest one. Missile experts looked in at it and they all said it's more consistent and more likely with a ballistic cruise missile as opposed to a plane, a fucking 100-ton plane, right? There was no plane debris, no wings, no propellers, no wheels, most importantly, no black box. So people that don't know, all planes have a black box in them, which is essentially it can what's the word? Survive any explosion, nuclear blast, whatever. So if a plane goes down, they know why. Obviously, not if it's in water. No black box, nothing. Whereas at the towers, you had bits of planes. It only damaged the outside of the building. This is a 100-ton plane that was going 250 miles an hour with an alleged speed of 350 miles an hour, only damaging the outside of the building. Nah. It only hit the bottom floor of a 5-story construct. So this terrorist, not pilot, right, but terrorist has flown a fucking 100-ton plane down to floor level, glided it along the floor, and only hit the bottom floor of behave yourself. It's just... Donald Rumsfeld was the alleged architect of this, and his office was on, architecturally, the exact opposite side of the building that the plane hit. Hide it a bit, lad. And it actually damaged specific files, probably relating to Donald Trump and Bill Clinton being perverts. That's... Take that with a pinch of salt. But that is the belief that they fired a missile there, and then that combined. Because, and I don't often write this, but with the towers, there is a list of the people that died in the towers and a list of people that died on the plane. And with the Pentagon, there's a list of 125 people that died in the Pentagon. No mention of anyone dying on a plane. Where did all the people go?
Yeah.
There wasn't a plane. It was a missile. For me, that is a 10 out of 10. And see if they... I know I'm copying Doody here. I don't want to get silver. If they did do that, they're not the first government to do that. Do you know what I mean? The government have done with the CIA themselves. In unclassified files, it shows that they done attacks on British soil and blamed on Cuba, so they can go into Cuba and do whatever they want. So, 10 for me.
10 for me as well. Just
like you said, it's back to the Epstein thing. It's that. Yeah. It's just... It shows what the elite can do.
Yeah, it's so much evidence, but because they're like the government, they're just like, no.
They're not policed. Do you know what I mean? So they can...
They can do what they want. They can do what they want, and we just can't do anything about it.
Exactly. So see if me and Jack suddenly die in a freak incident, it was the fucking Queen. My mum's gonna hate that, but okay. No, she doesn't watch us. Right, Jack, your final one? Is it your final one? Or?
Yeah, it will be my final one actually. So I'm going to do mine about the Dyatlov Pass incident.
Before you start, I love this. Yeah. Odd thing to say, but I love this one. So I'm just going to sit back, let you say it all, and then I'm going to talk about it at the end.
So for you guys that don't know about the Dyatlov Pass, the Dyatlov Pass incident was an event in which 9 Russian hikers died in the northern Ural Mountains between the 1st and the 2nd of February 1959. In uncertain or unexplained circumstances. The experienced hiking group were all from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, so they were all students at the local university. They'd established a camp on the slopes of Kolatsikal, I believe how that mountain's pronounced, in an area now named in honour of the group's leader, Igor Dyatlov. During the night, something caused them to tear their way out of the tents. So obviously they were sleeping inside the tents. Something's got near them and caused them to break out of the tents, flee the campsite, all while inadequately dressed for heavy snowfall and sub-zero temperatures. So they had like boxers, they had like just jeans on, they weren't really dressed for it. So after the group's bodies were discovered, an investigation by the Soviet authorities determined that 6 of the students had died from hypothermia, while other 3 showed signs of serious physical trauma. One victim had a fractured skull, 2 others had major chest cavities, and the body of one of the group was missing both its eyes. Another one was missing their tongue. So
I didn't know that last bit. They were missing their eyes and their tongue.
I think they were separate people as well. So obviously one of the guys was missing his eyes, and then another one was missing his tongue. The investigation.
I didn't know that. It makes it even better. Not better, but you know what I mean.
The investigation concluded that a compelling natural force had caused the deaths.
Caused that guy's eyes to come out.
Aye.
Oh man.
So they investigated it. I think it was compelling natural force that the students couldn't overcome was the proper title given to it. But I mean,
so what is, without sounding daft, what's the conspiracy? What is the, because that's obviously what is said to have happened. So what's the conspiracy? What is it believed?
So the conspiracy theory, one of the guys, Yuri Yudin, a student who briefly accompanied the group before turning back due to illness. So he was on the same sort of route. But he got sick on the road and then he had to go back to hospital or whatever because he wasn't very well. Said that before his death that he believed his friends saw something they shouldn't have seen and were forced at gunpoint to fabricate a sort of story or something that had happened to confuse the investigators. Then they were left to die. He also argued that the students had been asked by a Western agent. Now, obviously, 1959 was during the Cold War. So, whoever's watching that doesn't know what the Cold War is, Cold War was basically just who's got the bigger balls between America and Russia. Obviously, the linked in with the Cuba incident and stuff like that. The ballistic missiles almost getting launched, the space race. It was like tensions were really, really high between the two nations without ever actually coming to blows. But that's obviously kind of why it's known as the Cold War, because no fighting actually happened. But yeah. So
is that why it's called that? Oh my god, I never knew that.
I read that. It may or not. Don't quote me on that, obviously, but it would make sense.
That makes sense.
Obviously, no actual war took place, but they were both like really, really about to scrap each other, basically. So 1959. That was that was the peak of the Cold War. And obviously they had a lot of spies in that time, Russian over in America and America over in Russia. A lot of spies going on. So like I said, he thinks that his friends have been asked by this Western agent, this Western spy called the Mole, to photograph a secret missile test, which would make sense because there was obviously talk of like nuclear weapons getting produced and stuff like that. After doing so, they were murdered by the people that were guarding the actual apparent missile test site. The guys that had murdered them, the soldiers on site, had moved the tent 1.5 kilometres to an impractical place away from the site. That moving of the tents and whatnot was done by a mop-up team of soldiers that had several helicopters aiding them. That's one of the... So he basically thinks that his pals seen like a secret nuclear missile launch and they were killed because they'd seen it and they weren't supposed to. Another one that I've got, in January 1990, the former Communist Party head of a town near the Dyatlov Pass wrote a response to a newspaper article about a supposed UFO sighting in the area. Now, UFO, for those guys that don't know, it doesn't actually mean like flying saucer. A UFO is basically just unidentified flying object, so it could be anything. But in this instance, it's thought to be sort of extraterrestrial.
Easy for you to say.
They wrote a response to these guys in the newspaper saying apparently there was like UFOs and stuff like that in the air that night. The paper later published a story in which Lev Ivanov, the lead investigator of the 1959 Dyatlov inquiry, was quoted as saying the students were killed by a UFO specifically. A few months later, Ivanov wrote his own article in another newspaper blaming the students' injuries on a heat wave or a strong energy that's unknown to us. So there's apparently the nuclear test site, or there's aliens. Another apparent explanation is the abominable snowman.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Obviously, kind of like there were like footprints, like animal footprints found, and people argue it's a bear, but the footprints are quite big. And I don't
the abominable
know.
snowman, for everyone out there, is better known as the Yeti.
Yeah.
Right, do you want to rank them 1, 2, out of 10 individually?
For the nuclear story, I'd give it a 10. I'd give it a 10 because I would like. Well, I don't know. At least a 9 because
I'm giving it a 9.
As Russia, like they obviously do stuff like that. It was during the Cold War. I wouldn't be surprised. Like that makes the most sense that they have accidentally stumbled upon this nuclear test site they weren't supposed to see, and they've obviously, it being Russia, they were obviously killed because they discovered it. Would you agree with that? Would you give it like the same sort of
9? Yeah. Like I said, government's done some bad stuff.
Yeah.
I think out of the 3, it's the most believable.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 9, a solid 9. If somebody put them down in front of me and said one of these is what happened, I would say that one.
Yeah.
But it doesn't explain why, but then it does. Because then if they were just dead, it'd be weird. But if they didn't have their eyes and their tongues, then you're entering Yeti territory, and that makes sense.
I mean, if they were to be killed, they'd probably just be shot, like, instead of like the soldiers actually taking the time to like battle them and stuff. They'd probably just be shot on sight.
But then that's so obvious. That's what's happened. Is what I mean. So if they then go and kill them, like
they've been attacked by an animal. Which
exactly.
Yeah.
Realistically, I think they probably just got attacked by an animal.
I've just been like by like a massive bear. I hope, like, obviously this horrible hoping someone is killed by a mythical creature, but see if they were killed by the Yeti, may that be heavy sick, by the way.
Do you know, I was just thinking,
would be heavy
I don't
sick.
want to say that because it is odd, but that's probably like top 10 ways to go, is it not? The fucking Yeti, that's so cool.
Yeah, imagine like seeing that. Imagine
that's
just be like,
disrespectful, but I don't care.
And just be like, mate, that's. And Yeti's like it's like Bigfoot. It's like Bigfoot that lives in the.
It's like Arctic camel Bigfoot.
Yeah, mate.
Do you know what I mean? Right. Nuclear thing 9. Yeti 5.
5 or 6. The UFO one, nah, probably like a 2. Everybody loves to blame it on aliens, but they always love to blame it on aliens.
It's Russia,
yeah, if they were killed by like a heat ray or something, why would the heat ray take out your tongue or your eyes? Would it not just like incinerate them, just like burn them?
Yeah,
like
I think. I believe the Yeti more than the aliens, obviously.
Yeah, it'd be the same.
That I have got to say, seems to have to say, but that's been my favourite episode to date to record. We have recorded 3 for it. Looks like I'm a fucking idiot saying that's my favourite one out of the 2. Right. Very much enjoyed it. Like we said, it'll be up tomorrow, or whenever you watch it. It'll be up on Sunday. Once again, the poll will be there for you guys, so you can vote on what one you want next. Like I said, we are taking your opinions on board. We're going to do getting on it. If you've got any ideas, drop us a message. We'll record that next week. Jack, any final words going out there? Anything you want to add?
No, just it's you guys. Just we do obviously appreciate the feedback. And like Scott said, if you do have any like ideas or stuff that you want to talk about, or you want us to talk about, where we are on it, like clubs to go or drinks to drink, basically, definitely please a reach out, and maybe we can speak about them for you.
And we promise this time when we're drinking, recording the podcast, it will be legible. So that's not even the right word, is it? I don't care. Episode 2 of the Normal Guys podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Take care, and